Hey guys, it's Spider Pig, and today we're going to talk about some new frames I recently got and how I feel about them and the different departure from my normal frames I usually get. I kind of was looking for a little challenge, and every now and then some cool frame shows up on my feed and I'm like, alright, I'll give it a shot. So this one was one of them. This is the Kingkong Rammus 180. They make them, I think, in bigger sizes as well, and we'll talk about what I like and don't like about this in a second. And the other one was the Velarium by ReadyMadeRC, and I also got the little mount for the camera in the front, and we'll talk about what I like and don't like about them in a second as well. Now, before I start, these both have bottom battery holders, basically, where before these were kind of the frames I used before, and I'm a big fan of the Crazy Pony frames. They're really cheap and they're really good. And most of them are 3 to 4 millimeters, so they're really strong. Never had any problem with these. I like these frames, but all my drones were looking the same, all my quads were looking the same, and I'm like, you know what, let's try something a little different. So I went with something different. But one thing I do like about them is the fact that the battery's on top. And now a lot of people say when you crash, you typically crash upside down, and a lot of people have broken this top plate. I have never broken the top plate yet, so I've always kind of preferred the battery on top. I've been kind of hesitant to try something with the battery on the bottom, but having tried it for the last couple days, it hasn't been too bad, and I have been kind of using a kind of a beat-up battery to begin with, so it hasn't been bad. So let's start with the Velarium and talk about the kind of frame. It's a nice frame. I think it's a 220, I want to say, or 210. Let me see if I can look it up. That's a 230. Sorry, 230. It normally does not come with this cool camera holder, but I decided to spend. I think actually I ended up spending more than the frame cost. The frame actually is only like $16. And let me see how much the orange camera thing is. It's $22 for this little thing right here. And I don't know if it's worth it, but let's talk about the frame first of all. Frame is nicely designed, and I like the fact that you can actually access all the screws down here. A lot of the times with my other 250 frame, once you had these screws in, it was kind of tough to get to the screws at the bottom, so you needed to kind of plan ahead when you're building, and I really hated that because every now and then I have to take the whole thing apart, and it's a pain in the butt to take everything apart. These, again, you can change the arms out. These I think are 5-inch arms. I want to say they're 5-inch. They have a 6-inch and a 7-inch arm as well that you can attach to these, so I guess if you wanted bigger props, you could do that. I don't like that you don't have a lot of room up here, and I feel like this was designed to use their kind of things, their kind of their receiver and their transmitter and things like that, but I was able to get it to work with mine, and I'm just noticing now that the bottom of this is not, you can see it's actually not connected. Well, I'll have to check it out. Looks like the flight board is not connected. Alright, so I'm going to have to take this thing apart anyway. I had to kind of put the back here, the RX on the back here, and kind of make it work. Not everything fit like I wanted it to fit, and you can see in fact that the buzzer kind of fits in very oddly up there as well. But overall, it's a cool frame, very sturdy. I'm not a big fan of the ones that you have to kind of put the legs on because there's a lot of extra screws and adds a little bit of weight. I'm more of a unibody kind of guy, but overall, this flew very well. And I'll have to see why the cube didn't connect. I guess it wouldn't really matter because the ESCs kind of keep it connected, but I definitely will have to fix it at some point. The one thing is, like I said, I paid $22 for this little frame here, and it comes with these gold things as well. Now, I don't know if I like it. It's not very easy to move. I did have to tighten it a whole bunch of times, and I feel like in a crash, I guess if the propellers didn't protect the camera, then the camera would kind of get hurt pretty badly. I've had it hit the dirt one time, and the camera kind of got pushed back, so I had to kind of push it forward in the field. So it was, you know, not too bad. I mean, I don't crash too bad with these things. But overall, it's a nice frame. I definitely like it. and I'm looking forward to seeing what else I can do with it, and just to kind of play with it. But it is very nice. I can put a HD camera on the top here, which is really cool because I do like to take HD footage, and I kind of will show you some footage I took with this last couple of days. Okay, so then my recent build is this Rammus 180 by Kingkong, and I have to say this is probably the tiniest thing I've ever built. Just in retrospect, this is a 180 frame and this is a 180 frame. You can definitely tell the difference. This is all more narrow, and you can kind of tell, they're just definitely the same size. This looks a lot cooler, but to get everything to fit in here was like my Tetris skills, you know, all in one. The PDB I'm using has like a side, if you can see, it's the one in this one, has like a side connector, so I had to desolder that, and I had to put the connector actually in the front and kind of use a pigtail to connect to the XT60 connector here. Also, you don't really get a lot of room for here, so I end up getting PH Heli 20 amp ESCs, which I put over here on the arms, and then I used a what did I use here? Oh, that's right, I used the Maytech, the one with the OSD on it, but I'm not using the OSD for power control board. I'm using a Omnibus F3 flight controller, which is really great, and I do like it because it does have built-in on-screen display, which I do like. I also was able to get, I don't know if you can see between here, I was able to get a huge ass capacitor in there, which is cool, and it does help with a lot of the things. Let me see if I can pop the top here. It's not easy to pop the top. Okay. There you go. So the whole point is you're supposed to be able to kind of take these off, and they give you different colors for whatever color you like. So as you can see, I have my RX right there. I have the VTX right there. And if I just move this to the side, you should be able to see the capacitor I have in there, and how small everything is in there. And it is very small in there. So it is very weird the way you put this on. So you kind of have to go like this, and then you kind of have to force it in. Just always kind of weird, but all right, there it goes. You have to then move it back to make sure it kind of connect correctly. Otherwise, in flight, you're gonna have it pop right off. So looks like there's good, and I've kind of felt this. The one thing I did notice when I was flying this today, besides the fact that getting my GoPro to sit on here in any kind of way is non-existent right now, and I might try to see if I could make a mount for it. I did notice that when it was flipping, the antenna occasionally would hit the propellers and it would do like a weird flip thing. So I think I'm gonna get like a 90 degree bracket for this thing right here to mount it this way. I'm also a little hesitant because like it doesn't leave the VTX plug protected very well either, but thankfully it hasn't really got damaged at all. I've taken it out, I've crashed it a couple times just in the grass. You can see there's grass all over it, and it's been actually pretty good. It hasn't had any major issues, and it's flown very well. It seems to have a lot of punch to it. The motors on this thing are Racer Star 2205s, which I do like. I do like a lot. And you know, the props on here are 4045s, so they're very nice. And I was able to I've flown it right now only line of sight. It's been kind of crappy weather. I haven't really had time to go to the field to do a actual, you know, FPV flight. But I recorded some footage. I did when I recorded it today. I did not notice that the camera was really out of focus, and I will make sure in the future videos it'll be a lot more focused. But at least you can show you what kind of flight mode. And I do like the OSD, and when I do fly line of sight, I always fly horizon mode, just because I'm not that good in acro mode in line of sight. And I find in acro mode, if I get in trouble, it just is gonna go down really quickly. So horizon kind of helps me save it a little more easily. So that's why I prefer to fly. So those are my recent builds. If you have any suggestions on a frame you want me to try out, I'll be more than glad to try out. Like I said, I'm trying to get away from these kind of standard frames. Even though I like them and they're very functional, I think kind of cool to kind of maybe transplant some of my quads into a different frame. So just to kind of try them out. So let me know what you think. Catch you later. Hey, just another quick thing I wanted to mention. First of all, I did fix this quad here. Looks like the plastic spacers got cracked on one of the last flights. And here's another thing I just kind of want to mention. There's these 3M kind of hooks which I use, and I have them here on my back wall. You can kind of see, and it's kind of how I hang my quads. I kind of use, there you go. I use rubber bands on the back of them to kind of just hang them up, and that way we kind of hang nicely, and I have all my quads here. So that's just a little tip for you if you want to hang your quads. These are fairly cheap. I got them for like $5. I got like 10 of them, so not bad idea.